Hey, yo, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast presented by DJ City and Beat Source. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. We got DJ Never here.
Yo, what up?
We got Jamie the Great.
Yeah.
And we got one of my favorite people in the entire world here with us.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
Yeah. You're like quirky. You're like the quirkiest, most awkward, misunderstood DJ I know. But, you know, every time we hang out, we always have great conversations, you know.
Perception of me is different than the actual thing.
I want to talk about that because I was just talking to somebody about you.
Shoot.
And I'm like, you don't know what he's like at all.
Tell me who first. Tell me who first.
We got Miami's finest, DJ Konflikt in the building. What's good?
Thank you.
Yeah. No, so I had a conversation about you with actually a couple DJs.
Okay.
They think you're very cocky.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I am cocky to a certain extent.
No, but I think I'm talking about like when you were going around with the championship belt.
I think that was cool as fuck.
So you did a mix for Club Killers.
Yes.
And it ended up being like the most listened to mix, or it was like
Number
it had
one.
the most like listens on Mixcloud.
That
right?
happens sometimes.
Yeah. So it's happened more than once.
Yeah.
Hence the championship belt.
So,
Where did the championship belt come? Because people think you're serious,
okay.
but you're not really.
No.
No. So let me.
He's a fun guy.
But so what I'm saying is that I'm trying to tell them, like, yo, this is Konflikt. Like, he's trolling. He's trying to be funny.
I'm playing into those people.
Yeah. Okay. This is what you're doing.
So
but people don't realize you're trolling. Is what it is.
hip hop is based on confidence.
Yeah.
Can we all agree on that? Like
Yes.
break dancing, DJing, MCing,
competitive, yeah.
graffitiing. It's a competitive sport.
Right.
So yeah, I'm confident to a certain extent of my ability, but also I like pushing it a little bit because the general public might not be so aware of that.
Yeah.
So they might see someone with a belt and go, what the hell is this guy doing? And that impression, that let me go see what this is about, is what I'm after. Mm-hmm. That's the important piece, right? So when it comes to my peers, though, my colleagues, there isn't a day on the calendar where a DJ could hit me up and be like, I need your advice or I need your help. And I wouldn't be like, okay, let's work this out together.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. And I can imagine 100 DJs would vouch for me because I can show you the DMs.
You're actually very grounded and you're very humble.
But which is that dichotomy of actually having a championship belt. I think you have to have balance. You got to have both.
Right.
If I'm not loud enough, people won't look in my direction.
Right.
Fucking.
But to you, it's funny.
It's
like
fun to me. So the idea for the belt, it was like 2017 or 2018. And I thought, I'm going to delete my entire Instagram and I'm going to start over and I'm just going to be this character. I'm going to be Club DJ World Champion. And I'm going to carry the belt and I'm going to be everywhere. I'm going to be like, I'm going to say, if you find me without this belt, I'll give you $100 on the spot. I'm going to bring it in my gigs. I'll take pictures with people beforehand and after and be like, send me the pictures and I'll post it. Be like, look at all my fans. Right. That was the idea. It was like supposed to be something fun. I never pulled the trigger on it because
thank God,
because the commitment to it was too great, and I didn't want to lose the piece of seriousness that I have, which I think part of my brand that's more important than like that side.
I probably text you or call you and be like, are you okay? Because I'd be like, it's a little psycho, especially after the pandemic. Right?
No, it was supposed to be before pandemic.
Yeah,
was
18,
it?
17.
2018.
Oh, but you didn't pull the trigger till after the pandemic.
I didn't pull the, listen, when I pulled the trigger, it was like a peep little 22 that I pulled on that.
Yeah.
I was going to go full blown character.
Luckily, he started a podcast in 2018.
And now I'm not, it's coming to me more vividly. You actually edited one of our video clips.
Yes.
Because we were talking about the best mix of 2022 from our recap episode.
And play the video?
Yeah, and then we were saying, okay, so the winner, the number one mix is, and then you were like, DJ Konflikt.
Yeah.
And you kept
the number two mix, DJ Konflikt, and I had my kids do the voiceover.
Yeah, but people think you're serious for some reason because you never say LOL at the end. You never say it's a joke.
Because I'm not going to spoil the joke. But let me pull the curtains back a little bit. What did I do before I posted that?
You hit me up.
And I said what?
He hit me up saying he won all three of the mixes for that year.
I placed first, second, and third.
Yeah, first, second, and third.
Die long.
And I was like, yo, if you want to do that, you got my love.
I
got my
asked
approval.
for permission though.
Yeah,
because I respect you guys and I appreciate what you guys do here. So it's not all about me all the time.
Yeah.
But all the time.
Listen, not all the time, but I wanted to get that permission because it was important. If I'm using number one, your content, number two, your stuff, I wanted to see if you were cool with it. If you would have been like, nah, I don't like it, I would have deleted it. It would have never seen the light of day.
Thank God you said, okay, Kirk.
That's the curtain that I'm pulling back now. But why would I say LOL after a joke? It's like, if you don't get it, that's okay.
Just to let like motherfuckers know, right? No, like, but you don't really care.
No.
Yeah, you don't mind.
Here's my question: how much did the belt cost you? Because I know it wasn't that.
It was like $7,000.
What?
No, I'm just
Get out of
kidding.
here.
No, I'm just kidding.
It was all gold.
Wait, is it a custom belt? Does it
Yeah,
say?
it's a
custom belt.
vinyl. Did you
What
ever
does it
notice
say?
that?
What
It
does
says Club DJ World Champion. That's what I won when I won the championship.
what championship?
The Club DJ World Championship.
What was it? What championship?
You didn't
was
hear
that?
about it?
What-
Kirk is so gullible, man.
I don't know.
He's joking.
trolling you, man.
Was it at your house?
No, listen. I
It's a
wasn't.
vinyl.
It's the undisputed Club DJ World Championship belt.
So you won this.
I did. On any given night, when people are listening to me DJ, I'm the best DJ that they're ever going to hear that night.
You know,
That's
Conflikt. I haven't really talked to you since
The last one.
pre-pandemic.
You gotta hear me- you gotta-
What's happened during the pandemic, my friend?
But you didn't hear what I said. I said, when they listen to me, I'm going to be the best DJ they hear that night.
Right. Okay.
Tell me where I'm wrong.
No, I mean, yeah.
Unless the
I
club
get it.
hopping.
Unless
You might be the only DJ they hit me that night.
That's
you.
the joke.
That's the
I get it.
I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kirk, you gotta sharpen up on your
No,
funny
it's
skills.
not that. It's just that to me, it's
It just wasn't funny. That's the only thing.
It was funny.
Look at that big laugh. It was funny.
It's funny. No, it's like you're very like dad jokey now for some reason.
Ouch.
No, it's cute. Like
Thanks.
it's dad jokey. It's very.
I'm the kind of person when you hug, you close your eyes. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
Yeah,
so I haven't seen him in since what pre-pandemic. Right?
Yeah.
And when I saw him, I hugged him and I actually closed my eyes for a little bit.
I did too. It was like a warm, like, family guy here.
No, I haven't seen you since pre-pandemic.
Yeah, it's been
right?
a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
A lot has happened.
You guys look good though.
You look great.
What does that mean? That means we could have got really left during the pandemic, guys.
Yeah, it was a pandemic. I feel like everyone was doing something during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then I think at one point during the pandemic, you were like setting up a survival training
Close.
operation.
I was.
You ever seen that movie, The Survivor, with Robin Williams? And what's his name?
Walter Matthau.
Walter Matthau.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I did see that. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So it reminded me of what Robin Williams. Remember, he got robbed or some shit. And then like he joined a survivalist group.
Yeah.
Who were training for the end of the world. And they were like they were training with guns and like they were Green Berets. I saw this video of him and like some AR. And he was just like, yeah, we're going to get you ready for this shit. And he had like, I don't know if he had a bulletproof vest on or something.
He probably did.
And he had like, when these motherfuckers go shooting and they have like the yellow sunglasses.
Oakleys?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The Oakley?
Yeah, he had that. And I was just like, yo, this motherfucker is, yeah. He's like,
He's
yo.
Call of Duty for real.
Yeah, he's he's Warzone for real.
He's ready
Like, I
for
want
this.
that skin. I want the Konflikt skin. Yo, Konflikt skin
would be crazy.
Yo, end of the world Konflikt skin would be the shit. I would pay $20 for that, yo, for real.
Long hair, short hair, though. I don't know. You choose.
Yo, long hair was crazy though. Yeah. Short hair, you look very civilized.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, like you could do like a
I'm picturing Negan from
From Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
Yeah,
right?
I'll take that. That's a good one. So what I did was I actually became a certified pistol instructor to teach people how to handle firearms safely and then get their concealed weapons permit in Florida.
Over the pandemic?
Yes. So I started because I was sitting at home without work, and I thought to myself, all right, I'm burning through savings, burning through cash. What can I do right now that's open, that's outside, and that will generate some money? So I took
In Florida, especially.
in Florida.
And let's actually let's mention that to me you're one of like the biggest hustlers I know.
Oh, one time.
Like you have a lot of shit going on.
Thanks.
Like not only do you DJ, you have a podcast.
Yeah.
You also have like
Wait, you
you have a graphic design firm.
I
or-
did. I had one. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
I divested from that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you had a graphic design firm that was like doing flyers for DJs
And logos.
nightclubs, and
Yeah.
you always had your hands in as much as you could, like a very entrepreneurial spirit with you.
Well,
But,
thank you. Yeah, I try.
Yeah. So then, you got what entails with to get like
I had
don't
to
know.
take a class. It was a 2-day class, a couple of hours to make sure that
What's your pistol of choice, by the way?
depends what we're doing. Just overall.
Just shoot at the range.
Well, like what do you mean, like shooting ducks or
Give me-
killing people?
Well, you don't shoot ducks with a pistol.
I know.
Yeah, you
Okay.
use a
Well,
shotgun.
And I don't kill people.
okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
In case this gets played
Then what
in
do you
court
mean? Well,
someday.
can you explain what that question entails?
Sure. I
Yeah.
guess that I would look at the number one selling handgun as the Glock 19 because it's a mid-sized pistol.
It's light.
It's a compact gun that fits in a lot of people's hands.
Okay.
It's a Glock, which means it always goes bang when you pull the trigger if everything's set up right.
What made you want to get into?
I have always had an affinity. All right, this is going to sound weird, but an affinity for violence.
Okay.
And it's because I'm such a non-violent person. I don't like conflict, which is ironic. I don't like problems with people. I would always prefer to exit an issue if it comes up. But what I learned, because of my early childhood, coming from a family where there was a lot of domestic violence, just to be completely open.
Right.
When I grew up, I wanted to be the person that would always uphold justice when it needed to be upheld. So if there's ever an injustice around me, a bigger person picking on a smaller person, this is something I can't even tell you where it comes from. It's innate. It's like built into my cells, which is why I do martial arts, and I have for a really long time, which is why I've taught myself all these violent things. But it's because when you...
It's like a preparation for just in case some shit happens kind of shit, right?
It's
a little bit
kind of messed up to say, but the only way to end violence is to bring it one level above the violence that's brought to you.
Okay.
Yes.
So that means if someone is already pushing you, you need to know how to punch them.
Right.
If someone's already punching them, you need to know how to fight better.
Right.
Right. So it's like the only way to stand, and sometimes you can just walk away and move away from a situation. But my brother's a police officer. So I don't think it's a coincidence that we both like grew up and wanted to protect people, protect things and ourselves because we grew up in a place that was so inequitable to our well-being as kids.
Wow.
Not because of not my mom's fault by any means, or everyone has their problems.
Right.
Yeah.
No. Actually, that makes a lot of sense because I remember like back in the day, you were like rallying for like Red Bull DJs that were in the competition to get paid.
Yes.
Like helping the underdogs.
Yeah. Did you think that was okay?
I thought you were trolling a little bit.
Really?
A little bit.
I raised over $10,000 to pay them.
That's great.
Wow. I
think there was a rumor that no one got paid.
That too. You want to clear that up?
I think GS Reynosa like, what money? I didn't get shit. And
listen,
like,
I have screenshots of me paying each.
I know. I think we talked about it. I think you're good.
We're not
but that's where that comes from, right? Just kind of looking out for the underdog.
Well, not just that, but that's a different story. That one was because we're all DJs, dude. We got to look out for each other in certain sectors.
Right.
And I felt like if there's a multi-billion-dollar company using our names and using our talent to fill places. Okay, and if the light guy's getting paid, and if the sound guy's getting paid, and if the security's getting paid, and if the loadout team is getting paid, and if the equipment rental place is getting paid, you're not paying the people that are performing?
Right.
Explain that one to me. But this is old. This is really old. It's already been taken.
It is old, yeah.
I just, but that was why I came from that point of view, which is like, we got to pay our people.
And because of you, they stopped doing the Red Bull.
Well, and
they're
now,
like, you know what?
Listen,
we don't need this bullshit. Okay,
fuck that, man.
You know how much DJs were getting paid before?
How much?
Zero. And then now they're not getting any money anyway. So what's the difference?
They're not getting any marketing. We're not getting the next Four Color Zach or like
no competition.
No. It's fun. It's fine.
I don't have that much power, I don't think.
No. Okay. I'm just joking.
All right.
I'm just
I think there's more a pandemic than you, bro. We like to make fun of it.
But that was during the pandemic. You were doing pistol training and stuff?
Yeah, gun safety.
So I have I hate guns.
Okay.
I feel the need to tackle that fear. Like I should just like kind of get fluent with guns just so I can like, learn more about it. I just hate gun violence. Like I wouldn't want, you know what I'm saying?
I'm in town for another 2 days. You want to go to the range?
I'm not into.
Dude, that'd be good vlog.
I have no interest in learning or like shooting or doing anything. I think
you held the gun before.
I have.
Yeah.
If it's like when some motherfuckers like they shoot guns, they feel empowered. Mm-hmm. I'm just like cool. Like I get it. That's an option.
Pew pew.
Like I just don't want to fuck with it.
Ad libs by G.
Pew pew. Yeah. That's exactly how it felt.
Pew. It's okay, guys.
Yeah.
But during Call of Duty, you're like.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, ain't it?
It's different. It's different. I think there's the camaraderie.
No.
I love the camaraderie in Warzone.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, look, if you have shooting buddies, you could go to the range together.
I don't think I have any shooting buddies. I don't hang out with those kind of motherfuckers. There's maybe a lot of them in Florida, but not around.
There's a lot out here also.
No, there's a lot out here. They
but not with our New York energy.
Nah, not at all.
Because like you would never see a gun in New York. Like if you did, it was like
you get a lot of time over there.
The thing is, if you saw a gun, it was like it was for something illegal and violent. It wasn't like protection.
Something about to pop off.
Yeah, something like it's one of those things where
somebody
like,
gonna get.
But the laws in New York with a gun is crazy.
It's crazy. That's why you never really see guns unless like someone is doing some illegal shit.
LA and Florida are different. So.
Whereas like when I moved to Vegas, like, you know, I saw people shooting guns with their kids, and I was like turned off by that shit.
Really? Why?
At the moment it was scary to me, but I get.
It is a very scary thing.
I mean, I get the education of it.
It's important.
I feel like now you need it more than back when you first moved to
Definitely,
Vegas.
Definitely.
Yeah, I get the education of it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's something I would personally do with my children, but I understand, and I respect that a lot. Actually, I think it is important, especially if you're gonna have guns like
Around the house.
Around the house, I think it's very important.
Sorry, Kirk. Have you done it with your kid?
Yes.
Oh, nice. How old is he? Like,
So my stepson is 12 and my daughter's 6.
and both of them already pew pew.
So no, not my daughter, but my stepson has gone to the range, and you know, I just drill it in them every chance that I get or I remember. It's like if you see a gun, you don't touch it. If you think you see a gun, you tell an adult. You know, just kind of instill these safety rules into them that you'll never be in trouble if you just tell us the truth and to explain to us what's going on.
Nice.
Just so they have that at least underlying safety. So she's not old enough yet, I don't feel. Some people might disagree, but
Yeah.
I haven't taken her yet.
Yeah, that's interesting. Wait, is there like a limit at the gun range for how old kids should be? When
In certain places have different rules.
Florida has no rules. I'm
That's
assuming.
not true. There's
No,
plenty
they
of
do?
rules.
There's a height.
I feel like Florida never has
I
rules.
feel like you can do anything you want to do in Florida.
There's lots of rules in Florida.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we just have a bad perception of Florida.
It's like no one can. You can do whatever the fuck you want in Florida.
Zombies and everything is happening.
To a certain
over
extent. I haven't seen you in a long time, man.
Yeah,
So
it's been a
like
while.
this is a lot's happened.
A lot has happened. Yeah.
Like you know, we went through that whole Joe Maz thing.
there. Love Joe.
I think that was the last episode that we were on.
We did a Zoom, with Joe.
It was a Zoom. It was when Joe Maz. It was the height of like
Pandemic.
the pandemic. It was like BLM, election year.
Yeah.
It's craziness. And I wanted you and Joe Maz to come on the episode.
I remember.
To show that Joe Maz is like a regular person.
Regular.
Outside of all these political
regular Joe.
beliefs and conspiracy theories and everything.
I distinctly remember a different situation. I remember you egging him on. You're like, "So Joe, tell us what you think about this other thing." And it's like you were like,
No, that was during the debate.
that was the debate." Okay. That
Episode
was-
133 is Joe Maz and Conflict, and then the later one was
So the
Shaky.
first attempt was you and Joe Maz together.
right. I was trying to ground him a little bit.
And I was trying to be like, look, let's just have a conversation like DJs. And outside of this political shit.
Sure.
Because in the end, like, we should all be able to talk to each other like DJs.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's
you know?
humans.
And then we got flack, like, why are you giving him a platform? Why are you trying to normalize him? You know? And so we're like, okay, let's just stay away from this shit.
As he is,
And
as
then
a big critic
Shecky Green and I think him and Joe Maz were going back and forth.
Yeah.
on Twitter.
And they wanted to, and Shecky asked if they could use the R.O.A.D podcast platform to debate.
Yeah.
Joe wanted to go on Joe Rogan with Shaky to
But
talk about it. And he said, let's set up for the Road
Joe
podcast.
Maz said like, "Hey, we could go on Joe Rogan," and Shecky was like, "I don't know that level of delusion. Like, but we could go on R.O.A.D podcast."
We were number
What
two
a second choice.
after Joe Rogan.
So then we had him on our podcast,
Right.
and I mean, dude, like we've gotten hated on by Nigeria, by like we've had moments where like we've been canceled so many times.
Cult following.
See, that's an interesting thing. Do you guys care?
I know. I think we do, because the thing is, when you're building when you're building a brand or any type of company or podcast, like, and people are trying to cancel you, you're trying to like just navigate through it.
Sure.
But you're also trying to be earnest and to learn, like, what did we do wrong and everything.
Well, I said no because we don't have a malice heart to, like, the Nigeria thing. We didn't go after them. The Beyonce thing, we didn't go after her. This Joe Maz thing, we just gave them they wanted to debate.
The thing is, people will say like, you guys are chasing clout. And I don't think we've ever chased clout in anything we've ever done with the podcast, like ever.
I think that's a silly argument. If you guys would have picked a random off the street that was talking something, you got a DJ on a DJ podcast, what are you chasing?
I mean, we're not chasing sensationalism. Like, we don't do that.
He had a different point of view than what was going on in certain
popular
sections.
point of view.
Yeah, so what's the problem with that? You guys are displaying 2 points of view.
Oh, no, but we were getting killed.
Yeah,
like,
a lot of people didn't look
tell
at
them
it that
about
way.
the whole...
Like, these guys didn't really have to deal with it, but I had to deal with it because I had to
was
deal
with you. What do you mean?
No, but I had to deal with the social. I had to respond in social media.
Oh, you were a spokesman for sure.
No, but I had to respond to everybody.
So what was the strongest argument you feel that was like, that does it?
I'll tell you the one argument that someone said that really fucking pissed me off.
And pissed me off.
And it really pissed me off.
Pissed
it
off
was a white DJ that said, so this is during Black Lives Matter. So a lot of I think at the time, a lot of white DJs were getting called out for appropriating black music. Like, you guys play black music
culture.
and you're staying quiet during BLM. So there was a bunch of white DJs that were professing their support for the Black Lives Matter movement, saying, I'm with Black Lives Matter, and I'm not a racist.
Like showing their resume, like, look, I'm really about
I'm not
culture.
a racist.
I have a black friend.
This is a difficult conversation because I know I'm going to end up saying that they were just virtue signaling.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but one of them that was doing that felt like it was, I feel like they felt entitled to point shit out and attack others to proclaim their support for the movement.
Yeah, I'm good at
so in doing that, they were talking to me, an Asian American, and they were just like, you're having, Joe Maz is supporting Trump, who's a white supremacist and a racist, and you're no better than them. And I was like, you know what? And I got so mad, I stopped replying to people, and I was just like, for a white DJ to accuse an Asian American with 2 black other DJs and 1 Latin American DJ, it's literally the most diverse
podcast on the planet.
Podcast with people of color. Do you know what I'm saying? For a white person to call us racist or that we're in support of racism, to me is crazy. And it's one of those things where I realize this person does not know what the fuck they're saying.
Right, but so then that wasn't a good argument. That's just the one that cut the deepest for you. But the reality of the situation is this. You guys all have a good heart. You're not trying, you mentioned that, now I pointed at you because it's you don't have an agenda here where you're trying to say this is right or this is wrong. You're just presenting points of view.
Yeah.
And if you get in trouble for presenting points of view or if people don't like it, then don't listen. But you can't just stay in one echo chamber your whole life because you won't understand that there's another world out there. Mm-hmm. There might be different points of view. And I disagree with some DJs about certain things. And when that happens, including Joe,
right?
There's times where Joe will send me something and I go, wow, that's a little far for me, Joe. But anyway, how are things with this other stuff? But then at the same time, you look at his couple of posts that he's had about different things, and now they've become generally accepted arguments, and that's kind of the problem, right? When you're right a few times about something, and I'm not saying he's right a bunch of times, I'm not saying he's one thing or another. Joe's a really good friend of mine.
Yeah,
I feel really stupid even saying this, but the whole racism thing is really silly to me because he's not that person. He's never been that person, but. I will always defend my friend, even if I disagree with him on certain things, and that's an okay thing. That's a good thing. Disagreements are okay.
Right.
We don't all have to be on the same page because guess what? If we're on the same page, we're all the same. Where's the diversity? Which is what they call for in certain places anyway.
I think people mistake racism for ignorance.
Yes,
and the thing is, I think there's an ignorance. With Joe Maz, with certain things, for certain things.
I think all humans are capable of ignorance.
Of course. I think there's an ignorance with all of us.
Sure.
I think we're all ignorant as fuck.
Hell yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But when you start calling people racist, that's very different from ignorance. Do you know what I'm saying? But for me, I think ignorance should be a little bit more accepted. Do you know what I'm saying? If I'm walking down the street and someone speaks to me in Chinese and they're earnestly saying good morning in Chinese, I'm like, oh no, I'm Korean. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. But for me to be so you think all Asians are Chinese? That's ignorance. That's not racism. Do you know what
I would tend to agree, yes.
Right. So, and I think the problem right now is everything is racism. Everything that's ignorant is being called racism or hate.
I would go one level above that, and it's not just ignorance. I would say any disagreement automatically categorizes you as something negative.
Yeah, you get in the pigeonhole of that. There's black and white. There's no gray area.
But the thing is, like, not everyone is expected to know everything about everything that's going on, let alone everything that's personally going on with you.
Agreed.
Especially if you're a stranger.
Agreed.
Empathy
is important.
So that's look, empathy is so important.
Right.
So that's the thing that pissed me off about that statement about, a podcast with, 2 black dudes, a Latin American guy and an Asian guy. Like, the thing is, when you're growing up as a person of color or like non-white, I guess, in America, you're conditioned literally to cater to white America. Like, my name is Richard Sung. My mom did that to protect me. She gave me an American name, an English name, so I could fit in better. And there's things that never you had to do as a black African American, you had to do as a Mexican American to condition, and your parents were protecting you to prepare you that this is kind of a quote unquote white world. And it's like, we are kind of, trying to fit in. We are outsiders fitting in.
Can I present a similar argument but slightly different angle?
Sure. But no, I'm saying how in the world could a white person growing up in America understand that from a minority?
The struggle of a minority.
Exactly. They don't really understand the struggle of a minority.
Well, but that's to say, that's a very general and broad statement when you say, how could a white person? Because there are white people that have greater struggles than we've all had.
For sure.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
So then therein lies.
But that's one aspect.
Therein lies the empathy, right? We don't know what individuals are dealing with.
Exactly.
Right.
But no, but that is one aspect to have empathy towards that. These are minorities in America, and this is one of the struggles that they have to deal with. So me accusing a minority of racism is like impossible. Because I
don't know if it's impossible, but what I would say is it's definitely the wrong approach that that person took.
Yeah.
Because it makes no sense.
It's very not probable.
He could,
in my opinion, it's very not probable.
Very not probable.
One out of 100 times, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not, there's
very not
chances.
probable is fair enough for me. What I was going to say was my parents immigrated here to the United States. I was born in Argentina, so I'm Latino descent. I've done the DNA test. I have Mediterranean blood and Northern European blood. I was born in Argentina. I'm an American citizen. What does that make me? I couldn't tell you honestly. But what it does make me to the outward world is somebody that's empathetic. And I don't know if a server at a restaurant is having a bad day, white, black, Asian, or whatever they might be, and they don't serve me the right way. The first thing I tell my wife or tell somebody I'm dining with, it's like, maybe they had a bad day. Let's not hold it against them. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like that empathy.
I understand that.
So, and that goes into it like a very broad service throughout the whole world. If we could all do that, it'd be a lot better. And then maybe the person that says you guys were giving a racist a platform would say, I disagree with what you guys did. Which is a much better statement. You'd be like, well, tell me why. And if he could explain himself eloquently, then you could have a discussion. And then at the end, if you guys disagree, you could say, well, I disagree with you. Well, I disagree with you too. But anyway, thank you for promoting this podcast. It has a great platform for people. That's a normal, logical conversation. Not, you guys are racist, I'm out.
No. But it was a lot of emotions. It was a tough year.
Agreed.
I'm surprised we all got through it.
I'm not.
There was so much going on.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, I'm saying
the human race is very resilient.
I mean,
we'll be all right.
But that was a rough year.
I mean, we're already fucking up this earth, but I mean,
are we?
Yeah.
That was a really rough year. I mean, in all the years,
it was a very roller coaster emotional year for sure.
Like I couldn't imagine being a child during that year.
I mean, my kids were fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter was so pissed. She's like, I got to wear a mask to school every day. She's like, ugh. Yeah. And then when the mask came off, I said, hey, sweetie, guess what? The mask thing is gone. You don't have to wear it anymore. She took it off. She went like this and threw it in the trash again. She goes, finally. And she went about her life. And that was it.
Yeah. It was. You don't ever look back in that year like, whoa, that was a lot going on.
It was
a lot of shit going on.
It was a lot going on for sure.
It was every week with some shit going on.
Interesting year. But I also, something I tell my wife said the same thing one time. She's like, oh my God, this and oh my God, and the news. And I said, all right, cool. Quiet for a second. Just be quiet.
That's how you talk to your wife?
I sometimes if I have to.
Silencio.
Communication is key in this.
So I said, listen. And there was silence. And I said, if you go out the front door and you look left on our street and you look right on our street, you're not going to see guns. You're not going to see war. You're not going to see blood. You're not going to see people screaming. People are getting robbed. So what is at our doorstep that's problematic? And she said, no, well, nothing. And I said, well, but if you watch the news, they're only going to show you the worst of the worst that's going on in the world because it gives you clicks. and it gives you commercial time.
But you guys are blessed to not have that outside your doorstep.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah.
There's people that do deal with that.
Right.
And their life is greatly different.
Right.
But how we can better serve those people is by understanding that we are in a pretty good place, and it's like, all right, well, why don't we volunteer a weekend? Why don't we do more clothes donations? Why don't we figure out toy drives for Christmas? Because we have a moment to think instead of being worried that we're going to get X, Y, or Z that the news is portraying that afternoon. Does that make sense?
That's
That
a
makes
good way to
sense.
look at it.
I mean, that's your way of.
Yes, ours.
That's your way of tackling.
And if somebody disagrees with that, that's okay too. I would love to have a conversation. Maybe they could tell me, well, this is where you're wrong.
But I think this is what's missing. This level-headed exchange of ideas and opinions in a civilized manner is missing.
I agree.
Of just having this conversation, knowing that the person I'm talking to is a good person.
Yeah.
And like in the heart of it all, this is a good person with a family. And I think maybe they see a bunch of shit that's very differently from what I see.
Sure.
And our opinions differ.
Right. Everyone's reality
Right.
and perspective of their reality is different. And it's cool to have those talks.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like when you say when Joe Mass sends you like some like, I don't
Shit.
know, some news shit or like some updates or like some conspiracy theory or
Aha,
whatever
I
the
was
fuck
right.
he's doing. Yeah. And whatever political thing, he'll send me some of that shit too. But I just immediately say, how's the family?
Sure.
How you doing? Because I take it back to like, hey, we're like humans, we're men.
Sure.
And, when it comes down to it, are you doing good? Is your family good?
I agree.
Is your wife good?
Yeah. And Joe's the man. He's a great remixer. He's a great DJ.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff that he sent me about some things ended up being more accurate than I thought. I gave it to volume at the first time.
That's what you think. Yeah.
Well, listen, we can.
No, I don't want to go.
You don't wanna go in
I
there?
don't want to go. I'll let you. That's why I'm leaving you. I'm
Turn
not
it up,
saying
turn
nothing.
it up,
No,
turn it
no.
up.
I don't.
You want to
I
go
don't
back 2
wanna
years,
go.
Crooked? Really?
This is so nice. You want some Doritos?
Are those Canadian Doritos?
No. So like I think I was hanging out with him once.
Yeah.
And I don't know how his brain works.
Okay.
And I think we were at the airport. We were in San Diego.
All right.
And somehow we're like, okay, cabs are like $80 right now, but we could walk like where we were DJing. The festival was like a walk around these freeways around the airport. So
Sure.
we like ended up walking together. And I was having this conversation with him. Immediately he started talking about the news and like politics and all these like conspiracy theory. And I just like immediately I was like, yo, Joe, like how's the family, man? Congrats and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he took a deep breath and he was just like, oh, they're good. And then we just spoke about that.
Yeah, because maybe Joe's a personable human.
Yeah.
He's a cordial, good person.
Yeah.
So he was probably starting a conversation that he thought that you might want to have. Because the last two instances was about like current events and certain debates.
I don't.
But he didn't know that you might want to get personal. But what happened when you actually inserted that? Did he go with it?
No. Yeah, I mean he did.
Yeah.
We were just like two guys. Just
Exactly.
talking. Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? So isn't that the indication?
No, but I understand that. I don't think regular people I don't know.
Regular
maybe.
DJs.
Well, no, I don't think people in general understand that everyone in the end of it all wants to, live their life. They want to thrive.
Sure.
They want to take care of their loved ones.
Yeah.
And in the end, some people don't have the means to do it. Some people do.
Sure.
Some people do fucked up things to do it. Some people don't. But in the end of it all, it's like I have empathy for almost anyone.
Sure.
Even like a DJ who like steals or like undercuts or does all this shit. There's always a reason behind what they're doing.
Agreed.
And it also goes to show like, oh, like no one helped you. No one showed you how to do something, and then let me show you how to do this shit.
Isn't that so much better than
And
saying
then-
F that guy? He does it the wrong way.
He's an evil motherfucker.
You could just grab him and be like, listen, let's have a conversation in private over here. I'll
Right.
explain to you what's going on and why what you're doing is detrimental to your
Exactly.
future. Isn't that so much better?
Right.
Yeah.
But I understand that. I understand that in the end of it all, everyone just wants
Which
to
is
take
why
it.
you should pay no mind to those that don't. Because you can either say, hey, listen, if you want to talk about it, we'll
Right.
talk. But I don't want to hear these wild allegations.
Because in the end of it all, I think even the person that's emotional, that's sending me allegations and accusing me of things that they probably don't know what the fuck they're talking about, I think in the end, there's something missing there too.
There might be, or maybe they just think that that's what they're supposed to do in that moment.
For sure.
Because they're part of that team. I'm team, you guys are bad.
Yeah. I try not to look at people as like either black or white. Like this he's an evil motherfucker.
Right. That would be racist of you.
No, No, but there are some people that I'm like, he's, fuck him. He's just an evil. Like I don't fuck with.
And that you have all the right in the world to do that. You can avoid who you want entering your personal space or your bubble. Like, of course.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Dorito break. No, I'm sure you didn't even want to talk about this shit on this podcast.
I don't mind. I like where the conversation goes. There's a couple people that I could feel like I could talk to for hours about pretty much anything.
Right.
You're one of them. My buddy Cutswell in Arizona is another one. We'll get on the phone, and all of a sudden I look down. It's like 90-minute phone call.
Wow.
And just talking about things like
everyone's
this.
shirtless. Huh?
I don't know what.
Wait, so I want to talk about something.
Sure.
But I don't know if you're comfortable talking about it.
All right. Let's see.
It was brought to our attention or my attention on Twitter. That you were part of an agency.
Okay.
That was possibly stealing from their DJs.
Okay.
And I kind of wanted to hear your side or your experience of this, and if it's true, if it's not true.
Without getting too specific, what I'd like to say is that if you're an up-and-coming DJ, if you're a veteran DJ, it's important that if someone else is not even just a DJ, if you're just a person that has a financial advisor, a financial manager, someone that pays you, it's important for you to be accountable for what is coming in and what you're actually making. I remember, I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw a little post about, I think it was Chameleonaire, that he audited his record label, somebody, I think Jay-Z's team, and I don't know if this is true or not, but the lessons are the important part.
I heard about this.
Yeah, he hired Jay-Z's team to audit if the label had paid him out all the money he was owed, and they found that he was owed $600,000.
Right.
And then he got out of the label contract by saying, you either pay me my money and let me off my contract, or I'll teach everyone else how to do it.
Right.
Yeah,
How to edit or audit the label. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's an important point because even at the highest levels where you're making millions of dollars, it's important for you to stay on track, even if you have a financial manager that's handling everything. Mm-hmm. That being said, if there's an agency that's handling your money and cutting your checks, it's important to every now and then verify what you're being paid, because there could be issues. Right? There could be, I'm just going to present some examples here that might or might not have any relevancy to my life.
Okay.
There could be a situation where you get booked for a gig and the place where you're working says, all right, the rate is this much money, and then you get paid, and you say, okay, that's fine. You get paid that, but then you find out later that the rate was higher than what you were paid.
Right. Mm-hmm. So for example,
sure,
let's say you're getting booked in Arkansas.
Okay.
There's a club in Arkansas that wants to book you.
Yes.
And so the rate is $5,000.
Okay.
But your agent is telling you the rate is $3,000.
Sure.
This is what you're talking about.
That could be a good example.
And so the $2,000, where is that going? So either the agent that you hired to broker your deals is pocketing that $2,000, or it was somehow lost.
That could be a situation that's real. Now here's the backside of that.
Is there an official name for that kind of action?
Skimming. Right.
Skimming off the top.
That's where you take it off the top. Now here's the deal though.
Now that's not common practice for an agency.
I would say it's a dishonest practice. I don't know if it's uncommon.
Yes.
Dishonest.
So it's a dishonest practice because typically what an agent gets is 15%
or 20%, depending on the deal.
15 to 20%. That's the standard. 15 to 20% of your gross. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it can be the net after expenses.
It's after expenses.
Yeah. No, well, some people's gross.
Okay.
Yeah. But sometimes it's the net after flights, hotels, whatever's left over from the 3,000 or 5,000. They get their 15, 20%, and then you get the rest of your chunk.
This is something that I've had a long time to sit and to think about, because whether or not this is a real situation, when a gig is offered to you, let's say, for example, I'm your agent, right? Mm-hmm. And I say, Crooked, I have a gig for you. It's in Atlanta, and they're paying $2,000. Do you want to do it?
Is it all in?
And no, it's plus hotel and no flight.
See, we got to go through these terms because there's actually a couple young DJs that I spoke to.
Yeah.
And they were like, someone just reached out to me for a booking out of town. It's my first out of town booking. How do I coordinate this? And I was like, I was trying to break down all in, flights, landed.
So
all these terms.
I did
landed. Yeah, you did a whole podcast.
I did a whole podcast on it, so I can break it down.
What episode was it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But that being said, this is another reason why I'm launching my own agency, because this is helpful information for the world, right? For the DJ world. So
we'll talk about that later.
Sure.
Okay.
We can start from the plainest of plain contracts and agreements that you could get, which is we're going to pay you $2,000 when you come and you DJ here. Figure it out.
Right.
Period.
That's all in.
That's pretty much
So all in means you know, here's $2,000. You pay for your flight, hotel, blah, blah.
Right.
We don't want to know anything about that shit. Transportation, nothing.
Sure.
Right.
Then you move up a level. Then you say it's $2,000 plus hotel. So now they're covering your hotel and they'll send you confirmation. So now you're getting paid $2,000 and you don't have the expensive hotel.
Right. But usually that term is called landed, meaning you pay for your flights. But as soon as you're landed, you pay for your flights, but as soon as you land, we got you covered. Meaning we'll cover transportation sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes most of the times it'll be the ground transportation will be covered as well.
So that's all in and then landed.
Right.
And then
then you get even more so when they cover your rate, which in this example is $2,000 plus hotel, plus ground transportation, and then they reimburse your flight.
Yeah.
So now your expenses for that are basically lunch or dinner or waters at the airport, which are like $17, and that's pretty much your expense for the
except
trip.
for one city, you know, one city charges water at regular price.
What's that?
What city is that?
Salt Lake City.
Cool.
Like that's the only city where I could get like a large Fiji water for like $2.25.
Amazing.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And I've been around everywhere, but I'm like Salt Lake, $2.25 water. I'm good.
Amazing.
Anyway, go ahead.
So those are kind of the breakdowns, and then you have like extra add-ons. It's like a steak plate where you get the blue cheese on top, or Oscar style or whatever with the lobster tail on top of the steak.
Yeah.
So you have your rate, you have your hotel, you have your flight, you have your ground transportation, and you can get a per diem. There are some places that will give you an extra $100.
That's very rare.
It's rare, but resorts and casinos will be like you get $100 a day to put on whatever you want on the hotel room.
That's true.
Yeah. So
But
there's per diem.
Yeah, like if you're going to the Bahamas,
Yeah.
you know, like they'll say like, okay, like, you know, you have like $150 a day for meals or whatever the fuck you want. Yeah.
So the difficult part, if you're first dealing with this, is to know how to approach it and which one to ask for. Because you imagine you send a proposal to like Jimmy's Oyster Bar that's somewhere in like Providence that wants a DJ for 5 hours and is paying $300, and you go, all right, well, I want a hotel and I want a per diem and I want a dinner, and it's like it's not going to work that well.
Yeah, you got to read the room, right?
Yeah, but that's the tough part for those.
It's a tough part. Exactly. So like I had an opportunity to do a corporate event, and they were paying me really well.
They usually do.
And as soon as my agent mentioned travel expenses, they canceled. Just from the mere mention.
Interesting.
It was almost like we're paying you so much, you're getting greedy now, asking for travel.
You pushing it now.
Yeah, you pushing it. So now we're cutting.
You don't have to say
out.
the company, but can you tell me how much it was?
It was $1,000 an hour, and they wanted me to do an event for 4 hours.
Okay.
And it's somewhere. It was pretty close to where I'm at, but they were like, "You want travel?" And they're like, "No," and then they just cut the whole thing. But you know what? The thing is, like, I didn't even look. I had a bad day that day. It was like 3 cancellations for gigs, but that shit happens. Like, I don't take it personally.
Sure.
And like, I've never yelled at my agent or like my manager, and I've been like, "What the fuck?" Like, to me, like, yo, that shit happens.
They get paid when you get paid, though.
And this shit happens.
I agree.
So I can't take it personally. I'm just like, yo, like, I don't know. Like, maybe I got to order some food.
You text me.
Some more Doritos.
I got to like eat my pain away, like eat my stress. I don't know. I got to do something.
You text me that day. You're like, oh my God, it's been a rough day. 3 cancellations. I'm like, this show passed. You'll be all right.
Yeah, it's just when it's like when the gigs come in, you're like, yo, like, okay, we're fired up. Let's go. And then when the cancellations come in, you're just like,
fuck.
It's part of the game, man.
I got a cancellation today.
Yeah. It's just one of those.
I just got a cancellation for a gig. So
Recently I had a gig. I talked about this on my podcast too. I had a Friday gig cancel on Monday. So what are my options? I'm not booking something else. So what did I do? I would have been within my rights to say, guys, it's the week of, give me my check. Or guys, you can't do this the week of. Find somebody. Like I'm co-headlining. I don't care.
So what was your response?
My response was, hey man, I get it, no problem. Let's book 2 for the next month.
Smart reaction.
That's cool.
Smart response.
Great response.
Because my thought isn't this week. My thought is what's the next month and the next month and the next.
See, that's the guy I want in my corner.
What people need to understand, what a lot of young DJs don't realize, is that unfortunate shit happens all the time.
Yeah, life happens.
You can't take it out on the people you're doing business with. You have to maintain the relationship, and your reaction on like for situations just like that is exactly what they're analyzing.
Yeah.
They're looking at this person like, is this a psycho? Is this like a self-absorbed piece of shit that I'm working with, or is this a motherfucker who understands business and they understand like this shit happens once in a while,
right? And so moving back to I think the original thing about the championship belt and stuff,
right?
Like that kind of that kind of flex I'm not putting on the bookers. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going, yo, I'm the club DJ world champion. What do you mean you cancel my gig on Friday?
Right.
No, it's like, all right, man, I get it. Things happen.
So did you get the 2 for later?
I was able to secure a residency there. Yeah.
Sometimes also what happened is that you could say, let's focus on rescheduling this date that you just canceled, and maybe like cover any flights that I would have put.
It was a local
travel.
yeah, for sure.
But if it's local, that's fine.
It was local, so I'm not trying to burn that bridge.
Yeah,
why would I do that?
But for travel, like there's certain times when I've gotten canceled, and they say like we'll cover your travel and all that shit, and then we're gonna make sure we lock in like two, 3 more dates and then you know what I always say? I say don't even cover my travel. I got it. Like don't worry about that shit.
You don't want to be difficult to work with.
No,
because there's too many options in the marketplace. That doesn't mean also get run over and let them do whatever they want at all times. Like, oh, you have 3 cancellations in a row. There's a problem there. You got to figure out how to fix that, or if it's even worth working with that entity anymore. If there's so many cancellations and so much lack of organization. But circling back, the $2,000 gig in Atlanta I told you about.
Yeah, I
said, hey, Crooked, I got a gig for you in Atlanta. I'm your agent.
Yeah,
I got a gig for you in Atlanta for $2,000. Are you in or out?
All in?
No, it's plus flight.
Plus flight and hotel, huh? All travel?
Yeah, plus flight and hotel. $2,000 flight and hotel.
Sure, let's do it.
That sounds like it's actually a decent market rate for the DJs out there that are listening right now. It's not a bad rate. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. Mm-hmm. So you do the gig, you get your hotel reimbursement, you get your flight reimbursement. I pay you your $2,000, and then 2 or 3 months down the line, you find out that the gig really paid $5,000.
Well, you wouldn't even pay me $2,000. You'd pay me $1,700.
Sure, because of the minus the percentage, right?
So I'd get $1,700.
Sure, plus your reimbursements.
Right.
So if 2 months down the line you find out the gig paid $5,000,
right?
I did something kind of dishonest there because I said, Crooked, it's $2,000 at Atlanta. Do you want it? Yes or no?
Right.
I didn't tell you it was 5. I told you it was 2. Mm-hmm. But I didn't necessarily lie to you because I said I gave you the option to take the gig or not.
Right.
At the market rate of $2,000. Mm-hmm. That's a little bit of a dishonest practice, I feel.
For sure. And that's what was happen. That's what kind of happened.
That's what happens in some instances in life.
Damn, I love this guy. I fucking love this guy.
You know what I heard too?
The champion.
This is the craziest shit I've heard.
What did you hear?
In some instances, the agent was telling the venue that they needed a portion of the deposit because they were creating a retirement fund for their DJ. You know what I'm talking about, right?
It sounds a little familiar.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on it.
So imagine there's this $5,000 gig, right?
Let him talk, okay?
No, wait, I'm setting it up so he doesn't have to say anything.
You're doing great.
So imagine there's this $5,000 gig in Atlanta and you're the DJ. And I say, hey, Konflikt, I got a gig in Atlanta that's paying $2,000. You want it? They take care of flights and hotel and everything.
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay, cool. So then I talk to the club. I say, hey, so send me a deposit. Let's split these deposits up. Send me a deposit for $2,000. Send the other $3,000, later as a later deposit, and it's actually a retirement fund for that DJ. And this was going on, from what I heard.
Where did you hear that?
I mean, it was actually announced somehow.
Oh.
On Twitter.
It came across your phone.
On Twitter, online?
Wow. On Twitter.
Yeah.
On Elon Musk's Twitter. So,
yes.
If that happened, that definitely would have to, you got to talk to the person that happened to.
But I know, yeah.
But that being said, dishonest practices are not out of this world in the realm that we work in, right? We work a lot of times off of handshakes. How many contracts have you signed for your gigs?
None.
There's some that do, but most of them for me.
If it's residency for like a year, for
but that's
6
Vegas.
months, 12 months. Yeah. You got to sign.
I send my dates in advance. In December, I send my dates to someone. They go, yeah, approved. Yeah. That's pretty much the extent of it. And
for sure.
So a lot of what we do is based on handshakes. So dishonest practice is something that everyone should look out for, which goes back to the original lesson of this whole hypothetical situation that may or may not have happened in the world. You need to be on top of who's handling your money and verifying what's coming in and when it's coming in and how it's coming in.
But how would you know?
Because you can ask. It's a tough situation no matter how you slice it. But if someone's handling your money, you can approach the nightclub and say, hey, just to confirm for my record keeping, I'm getting paid this amount and this was the deal, yes?
So you're saying when, let's say I go to Atlanta.
Sure, you go to Atlanta
club,
to the 2000.
You're my agent.
Yes.
I go to the club and I'm like, hey, thanks for having me. Oh, Crooked, we're so glad you're here. And da-da-da-da. Towards the end of the night, great job, man. We can't wait for you to come back. Okay, cool, man. Oh, just so I know, I'm not here to pick up any money, right? It's all going to get direct deposited. Yeah. And then what was the total invoice amount?
What was the terms of the deal? Could you guys remind me? I didn't make a note of it when my agent.
And then the booker, the club owner says, oh yeah, 5,000. And I'm like,
Well, then that's the thing. Now, this goes back to not being difficult. You can go, oh wow, all right. Well, I really appreciate being here. Thank you so much. And then I have to go because I got
to beat somebody's ass.
I have an emergency that I have to get to.
Right.
And then you make
agent.
You have to make a decision at that point.
Right.
Right. Like, are you going to try to salvage and mend it, or are you going to try to just go full nuclear?
What would you do?
Let's go around the room.
Yes.
What would you do?
What would you do, Neva? You hear that you got paid $2,000 for a gig, but they're saying they paid your agent $5,000.
I will call my agent right away.
Would you let the club owner know that you only got $2,000?
I wouldn't let the club owner know, but I'll call my agent.
But would you say something to reconfirm, like, oh, it wasn't $2,000? You wouldn't? Would you say that?
I wouldn't say it right away, no. Because I'm thinking.
Would you want to see proof?
I would be so shocked and fucked up in the head. It would take me a minute to like calculate what's going on now. For me to realize that
this isn't real. You're already stuttering yourself.
I know that. It take me a while to realize, damn, these motherfuckers been robbing me, or these motherfuckers.
Well, that's the biggest question: is how long has this been going on, right?
I'm pretty sure it goes on all the time.
No, but how long has it been going on with you and your agent?
You never know. Yeah. It could have been going on since day one.
Yeah, Jamie, I feel like you would say something right on the spot.
Nah, I usually call you before I do anything. So I would definitely give my people a call. I would give Crooked a call, give Neva a call, just to get some type of advice, because they probably have dealt with it in the past. Now, I understand not everybody has that luxury of calling an OG up, but I wouldn't flip out right away, because I'm like, there has to be something more to it for me to like snap right away. I just can't get emotional. Again, it's the long game, not the short game. So
it's interesting, because in the situation, what would immediately come to my mind is it bad optics for the booker of the owner to know that there's been some foul play going on?
Yes, if you're going to maintain the relationship.
Right. So I would have to have this face of, oh, okay, 5,000. Now in my head, I would say, ask to see the contract, or ask to see some type of document.
But why would
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. If I ask for that, they're going to be like, why are you asking for
so look, here's how I see it. This is confrontation 101. It's like
But in my head, I would want to see a document to see if that was 5,000, if it was for sure.
But so what if it's just a handshake?
Easy. Huh?
What if it's a handshake?
Well, I would tell them, I would just be like, oh, 5,000, right. You know what? I need can I get something from my records? I just need something from my records, because I'm switching accountants. Do you think you could email me something like that? And they'd be like, yeah, sure. I was like, is there someone I could talk to directly and email them and get that shit from them? That's off the top of my head. That's what I would say. That's
a fair reaction to have. I think that's adding too much to the pot. That's
what I would have done.
I would just go to my agent and say, hey, listen, they told me it's 5K. Like, what's going on? If he doubles down and goes, no, it's 2, then there's a decision you have to make at that moment, because somebody's lying. Right. So you're either not working with the venue anymore, or you're not working with your booker anymore.
But see, the reason why I would ask for to speak to a contact in accounts payable, or just someone who has a copy of the contract, is because then I already have a line of communication to somebody.
Fair.
For the documents.
Fair. Sure.
Because I can't at that point, I can't really just trust. At that point, I kind of got to troubleshoot, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So like I got to have 2 lines of communication, one direct to the club.
Yep.
And then one to my agent.
Right.
So that's, I think my way's a little better.
Okay. When you're dealing with deception, you do have to kind of be a little deceptive yourself when you're figuring.
But that's not deceptive.
But quiet, more quiet.
Yeah, but it's anticipating the potential. It's like what I'm doing is I'm already anticipating, okay, so if I can't trust my agent now, I have to create a direct line.
Sure.
So I want to have a sense of urgency to create that direct line of communication with my bookers right then and there. Get the email and then get that underway, and then have a plan of action. What I would do is I would continue communicating with the club directly, gather more information before approaching even my agent.
For sure. That's an important piece to
and
have.
then I would approach my agent to see what the fuck they would say.
Right. So now here's the deal.
Right.
Let's say that you gather your evidence. It is $5K. I'm your agent. You come to me. Let's go.
Right. Oh, I'm going to say?
Yep.
I'd be like, hey, so, that gig that I just had in Atlanta.
Yes.
Just to reconfirm, it was $2,000 plus flights and hotels.
That's what you were paid.
Yeah. I heard it was $5,000.
That was the total check.
What? What do you mean?
I asked you if you wanted the gig for $2,000.
Okay.
You said yes. I took a bonus. It was a big check.
Oh, so you gave yourself a $3,000 bonus.
I did.
Oh, okay. But they were paying $5,000 for my services.
That's correct.
So,
But you accepted the gig at $2,000.
But you're as my agent.
Yes.
You're required to tell me exactly how much I'm being compensated for my services.
This is true.
And you're withholding information.
And I was not looking out for your best interest.
No.
That's right.
Okay.
Right.
So you're fired.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it, right? That's the honest way of doing things.
Yes.
Let me show you a different one.
Okay.
Come at me again.
Who am I?
You're the DJ.
I'm the DJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the agent.
So I heard the Atlanta gig was $5,000.
No, it was $2,000.
No, I've been actually talking with them and it's $5,000.
No, it's $2,000. You're wrong.
What do you mean I'm wrong?
Yeah, no, the thing is, look, there was a situation and like I had to do something and basically it's a $2,000 gig for you.
Okay, so here's a screenshot of the email. Here's a screenshot of the contract and the invoice. It's $5,000.
No, it was $2,000. You're wrong. Whatever you have is not true.
Okay, so you're crazy and I need to get away from you. All right.
See, the first one was me being honest. The first one was me. I told you the truth and I laid it out for you. And I told you, look, the check was $5K.
One has accountability and the other doesn't.
Right.
Okay.
And which one would you prefer?
Accountability.
I agree with you. It's not always what I was given.
Right.
Or
that was
That's not always what I was
That was
given.
possibly the situation.
In my life, I haven't always received accountability. And if I would have, I would still have relationships that I don't.
Exactly. Because there's something to retain.
Because listen,
from
at the end of the day, if I approach someone and I go, yo, I have X, Y, or Z proof about this, and then they lie to me.
Yeah.
That there's no salvaging that relationship.
Exactly.
I can't do anything about that.
Not only that, when there's this heavy weight of delusion, right? where it's not even like reality. We're not in the same realm of reality.
Right. If somebody tells me you took a $2,000 gig, you said yes. Why are you mad at me? Right. I'd be like, well, that's dishonest. At least it's dishonest.
Right.
And it's not the best practice. And you are supposed to be looking out for my best interest, and you're not. So I have to really re-examine my relationship with you, and I want to see if I want to continue it. That's if you're honest. Because if you're not honest, you just close that door.
So how many years?
So here's to answer your question.
And that's what will drive me crazy. I don't give a fuck about that gig. What would drive me fucking up the wall is the amount of years that this has been going on.
Yeah.
Because that betrayal is next level. Being lied to
now that has
and stolen from for like 5 years would be fucking crazy. Especially if this is like someone I was like, I don't know, like
that you trusted.
Let's say I invited
with your career.
If I invited them to my wedding,
you broke bread with this person.
I felt like if I invited them to my wedding or if they met my parents or something, I would be.
Yeah.
I would.
They didn't know your family.
I'd be nauseous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is real.
I'd call Konflikt and I say I need gun training.
Call of Duty's not cutting it.
Violence is never the answer.
I need pistol training right now.
Violence.
I need you to avenge me.
Violence is not the answer, but this is actually rehashing a couple things, and I feel sad. I really do. I feel like kind of sad. I don't want to say the word triggered because it's so overused, but like I'm genuinely being sad about it because I've done so many good things in my career. And to answer your question, there's only one time that I have like verifiable proof in my career that something might have happened that didn't add up in the right way.
Got it.
And that shouldn't be the only thing that's remembered of something that was ongoing for so many years.
I get what you're saying.
So like, it's a difficult situation for me because sometimes I do think of certain people that I don't talk to anymore, and I want to reach out to them and see how they're doing. But it's hard for me to cross that barrier because certain lines get crossed, and it's like tough. I have no hard feelings with anyone whatsoever, and sometimes I think everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah, because you want to look back on your career, and you know, when you look back on your career, no one's ever doing it alone.
Sure.
You're doing it with somebody. And, you know, when you're working with an agent or a manager, you're really tight. You know, you're speaking to them multiple times a week, sometimes multiple times a day. You really feel like you're building something together.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're looking out for you. You're looking out for them. And there's a trust. There's a camaraderie. There's a friendship. There's a mutual respect in the fact that you're in business. And you kind of want to see things in that way despite everything that happened.
Right.
And you're a good person.
Me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're a good person.
I try to be. I want to be the person
because you're still trying to hold on to the good things that happened,
because there were so many good things, man.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and so like, you know, this is one verifiable instance where maybe somebody made a mistake. Maybe it was the one time that if something like this ever happened,
you don't know what was going on to a certain degree.
That too.
You know.
But it does raise a lot of questions. But to answer your question, getting back to getting out of the mushy stuff, we all individually on labels, as what I recommend. And management companies is always to do that individual verification here and there. And that's something that we all did a lot of time. So there was very few instances where bad things could have happened. This is just one thing that was like glaringly obvious, which at the end of the day, this goes out to everyone that's listening, DJ, regular person, whatever line of work you're in. If you're dishonest, eventually it bubbles to the surface, regardless of what you do in life, whether it's inside of you or others. My wife likes watching murder shows. And last night there was a murder that happened. It was Forensic Files. Murder happens. They have no clue what happened. A year goes by. Still, like basically cold case. No one has a clue. Police department gets a letter saying, I know who did it. It was this person and this is how they did it. It's the killer telling on himself. It was the killer that wrote that letter because they couldn't harbor that anymore because dishonesty will burn a hole through you until you tell the truth. And that is true in all facets of life.
Well, I feel like, you know, as I've gotten older, I've noticed that people who are truly like delusional, who kind of have to create like an alternate reality, are people who lie a lot.
Sure.
And, you know what I mean? Because they never have to be accountable in their world.
Sure.
You know, they're able to weave through friendships, companies, jobs, works, you know, like they're able to weave through life and not be accountable. So there's this level of delusion over the years and decades as they progress.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Wow. So, but that's why you're starting your own agency.
I'm starting my own agency for lots of reasons. Right. That's
one of them.
Oh, the least of all, probably.
Really?
Yeah. Transparency is very important, but I think that there's not a lot of resources out there for DJs today. So I can give you
what are the reasons for you starting your agency?
So
what is the name of this agency?
My Favorite DJ Agency.
Of course it is My Favorite DJ.
My Favorite DJ Agency.
Right.
It just rolls off the tongue.
It really doesn't, but okay for you.
Listen, the R.O.A.D podcast. How long did it take to come up with Reflections of a DJ for that one?
Look, not that long.
It wasn't that long.
About four episodes or so.
So what I'm building, I'll give you the whole, I haven't announced like what it specifically is, but the whole thing is this. At the top, we're going to have a main roster, and there's going to be 6 handpicked DJs, which are the top of their markets, which I've already picked, which is DJ EU from Atlanta, DJ RM from the Northeast, he's in Providence and Boston, DJ Mr. Shaw from Chicago, DJ Booza from here in Las Vegas, and myself from Miami, and potentially DJ Obscene is hopping on really soon too. So that's going to be the main roster. Now, the full roster is going to be accessible to any DJ that wants to sign up. We're going to have open signups for the main roster. You're going to get checklists of things you have to have. You're going to have a Mixcloud and a logo and a press kit. You know, the things that people ask me on a weekly basis, what do I need to do? I had a DJ reach out to me and say, hey, when I announced the agency, he's like, hey man, I can rock in your room, I'm ready. And I looked at his Instagram and it said like, his college, the year he was graduating, his fraternity, and something like, I like science.
Yeah.
And he hadn't posted a picture in a year.
Right.
And I'm not trying to demean or degrade him at all, because I gave him friendly advice and sound advice, which was, listen, man, if I'm a booker, how do I know what you are?
But that's not a DJ's account.
It
right?
was.
That's
it was DJ's account.
It was, but I'm saying it doesn't look like a DJ account.
And so that the guidance that this agency is going to give is one-on-one.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
Are you charging like a membership fee?
So there's going to be potentially something like that.
That's the conflict.
Subscription based.
There's going to be something.
That's the conflict I know.
I haven't ironed out. It's
$9.99.
Wait. So what do you mean? This is an open?
Yes.
roster, that means anybody.
Full roster.
So you can have like
will be open.
20,000 DJs signed up.
Not only will they be signed up, but they'll have access to a lot of resources that they don't have on the open market. Yeah.
How do you have the workforce and the staff to look to, you know?
So the beautiful part about that is, as a business grows, it will tell you how many employees you need. Right now, we don't need.
Wait, so what's the purpose of having, let's say, I don't know, let's say you have, I mean, even having a roster of 200 to 500 DJs is a lot.
Sure.
Yeah, 500 DJs.
Beautiful.
You can't properly vet how each DJ is, right?
So there is going to be a direct vetting when they sign up.
When they sign up.
Yep.
Okay. So what is this like? So how are they going to get gigs?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
I would love to expand on that.
Yeah.
So the full roster is going to be open for signups, and not only are you going to get access to a specific login area that's going to, I'll explain the gig in a second, but you're going to get checklists. You're going to get one-on-one, like basically diagnosing of what the best path is for you to take in your career, which is something that I've been doing every week. So
this is a lot of back end preparation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm on the R.O.A.D podcast to promote it. It's a big deal. So every week, 2 or 3 DJs will hit me up and say, how do I play this? I have a problem with this club. Help me with this gig. Do you have a contract? What would you recommend? Which logo looks better? Can you make a drop for me? And every single one gets answered because I like to help my community, my colleagues. But what I realize is a lot of my time is going into that, and I'm not receiving anything out of it. And what I also realized, more importantly than that, is that the community itself needs a lot of guidance and a lot of things that are unanswered questions. Like we talked about, like what kind of contracts are there? We just spoke to them here, right? Like that's not common knowledge, right? So a lot of people would be better off having a management company helping them with that.
Right.
So once you sign up and you're on the full roster, you're also going to get access to a couple of different things. Number one are delegated designers. They're going to help you fulfill your checklist. So you're going to have a checklist of, you need a Mixcloud. You need to make sure your Instagram is on point. You need your logo. You need your press kit. Things that we know are common knowledge.
Right.
But a lot of people might not know where to start.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? So you get that, and you get designers that are in the game already, and they can make it for you. And like, all right, cool. Like, I need a logo. Here's some options. I need a press kit. Here's some options, right? Not just that, but we're also going to have a thing called the gig board. The gig board is going to be when I need an opener Friday night at Fort Lauderdale.
How long did it take you to come up with that name, the gig board?
That's a pretty cool name.
Not that long.
Okay.
The gig board.
when I have an opener need in Fort Lauderdale on Friday, instead of posting it on my Instagram, like, yo, DJs hit me up, I'm going to post it on the gig board so only my members and my roster can take advantage.
So then 50 DJs hop on that. Who gets it?
Whoever claims.
So that's the
First
thing
one,
is, whoever contacts me, I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to vet you and see which one I want to use. Right? So the idea is, if you're in Rochester, New York, and you have an open gig on Saturday, you can post it on the gig board instead of just putting it on Instagram. So we can all help each other as a community.
So you're like creating a
one-stop shop,
like a back pages for DJs.
Back page.
You're creating I mean, it is kind of like a back pages, right?
That, or I don't know.
I would prefer, but monster.com is a little bit better.
Okay, yeah.
I would say like that show Shipping Wars, like whoever wins.
Sure.
Yeah,
so
like
that's a loading board. It's kind of the idea. A loading board is what they use for freight. So basically they say, hey, I need this shipped from here to here. Who wants to do it?
So I have a question. Would you ever let venues have direct access where they can just post their gigs?
Yeah. Yeah, how about venues?
So but you have to still vet the DJ pretty much.
So here's the deal. Let's say that, for example, I have 4 or 5 different venues that now are posting on my gig board.
Okay.
Because they're accounts that want to be handled by my agency. Right? Now I have a delegated agent that's going to be dealing with those specific venues and with the DJs that hit that agent up.
Right.
Right.
There's a lot of...
I got one more question. I mean, let's go back.
I got a few questions.
There's a lot of moving pieces.
There is.
So once again, any DJ that want to join could join your agency.
Any DJ that needs help with their career and structuring their path can join.
It's like back pages, but there's a team helping you.
Yeah.
Can you start saying monster.com, please?
Or Shipping Wars?
It's like back pages, but they're telling you how to pose in pictures. Like, no, like, you want to do this, and you want to do that.
Have you ever worked out at the gym?
Yeah.
Do you find that it's easier when a personal trainer is helping you do the exercises and like guides you on the right way to do it?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. Yeah, same thing.
Ta-da. Works on your shot.
I mean, on paper, it sounds like a good idea.
Thank you.
On paper,
But
the vetting process worries me.
I understand. Well,
it's time consuming.
If you're free, I'll hire you and you can vet and you can.
I'm okay. I don't know. Maybe in 10 years, I'll be like, hey, Konflikt, I need a job.
Fair enough.
And I'll be like one of your counselors.
But then you wouldn't be at the ground floor. You're going to get paid a lot less.
Yeah.
I'll
be in the mailroom.
You're bringing coffee for him.
I'll be at the gig board, like posting shit. Like,
damn, here.
No, that was my question. Like any DJ, whoever's a DJ can sign up and join your agency. Like you're not picking like certain DJs that could be on the agency.
That's right. Just for example, like when you sign up for a record pool.
That's what I was thinking.
They might verify and be like, oh, yeah, that's a DJ. But they don't go, all right, where are you working? We want to make sure if you play our edits, you got to be working at a top club. No, man, the market needs to open up for everybody because you don't know when that next guy, maybe it's some bedroom DJ that needs a little bit of guidance and ends up being the next DJ Vice.
You know what I would have you consider is putting 3 references down for each DJ.
That's a good thing.
Interesting. Or like places that they've worked.
No, just someone that you can reference and be like, is this person legit? They have to reference other DJs.
Like, just like a job when you get a reference.
You need like references. Otherwise, you're gonna get weirdos that can steal somebody else's mixes, upload it to Mixcloud, and like do all types of like.
Now,
I could literally, I might, you know what? When you launch your site, I might create a new DJ persona and see if I slip through and I get a gig. And it's like, oh shit, I got a gig in Fort Lauderdale for some make believe DJ that I made.
I understand.
So you need those like 3 references.
I mean, there's a verification process. I'm sure he's working on and stuff.
So
like that.
I think that when you look at an account on Instagram or when you listen to a Mixcloud, you can tell if the person's real or not. Would you agree or no? You ever gone to a troll account and you're like, well, this person's either real.
I recently got somebody took all my pictures and my identity and started their own DJ page.
Wow.
I sent it to him.
Yeah.
What was your other DJ name in the other universe?
DJ, I can tell you in a second.
DJ like Super Shot or Short Shot.
It was like DJ.
So I was on Instagram or somebody followed me or added me as a friend. And
DJ Spark.
DJ Spark. You look like a DJ Spark.
DJ Spark.
Wow, that's a lot of followers.
Yeah.
So I saw someone follow me, and then I was like, yo, I know that handsome guy.
Right.
And then I clicked it, and it was Neva, and this guy stole all of Neva's pictures and everything. Huh. And I sent it to him.
That's crazy.
I'm glad that you guys brought that up. It's a great thing that I could like double verify, double wall.
But the problem is that takes time to vet. Like I could literally, like if there's 3 references per DJ.
Sure.
Those references aren't going to get back to you for a couple of days.
So you're talking about individual references. Maybe the references aren't necessarily people, but they're different things. Like maybe you ask that DJ, you go, all right, cool. Can you make me a 15-minute video mix real quick?
That's what I was going to say. A verification process, like a profile, like on MySpace, like, yo, you need to mix these 3 songs in order to get verified.
You need one reference that person's not like a fucking psycho.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean.
Fair enough. But so
you can't post like, hey, send me your psychological records, medical thing.
The due diligence will be on the people that are like, if I post on the gig board, I need a DJ Friday in Fort Lauderdale, and they hit me up, I'm going to be the one that has to do my due diligence.
As a business owner, that the thing that worries me is the vetting process because it requires employees. It requires hours and a lot of work.
I'm not afraid of work or employees or hours.
I'm afraid of employees because I think employees and employers are in a weird stage right now because not everybody wants to work for an employer. This is what worries me. I feel like, remember the MP3 stage with Napster and iTunes?
LimeWire.
And LimeWire. And they kind of figured it out with streaming. I feel like that's what's going on with employees and employers right now.
Fair enough. It's possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't an employee out there that will be suitable for it. So also, this is another thing, I did mention the main roster, which are these 6 guys that will be doing gigs throughout the country and like will be handled by the agency.
Yeah.
Right. So there will be more time for me to either not be traveling or potentially also be traveling and have somebody that's making enough money to be able to vet. Mm-hmm. I think that also if there's 500 signups, employees will be a must from day one. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be people that I trust and that I know can do the work.
Yeah, it's just it's a problem because it's like like we know like back in the day, like for example, Antisocial Social Club.
Yeah,
it's a brand. It's a clothing streetwear brand that like blew up overnight. This guy put out T-shirts. All of a sudden, he sold like 250,000 shirts or something. I don't know what it is. and he couldn't keep up with the orders.
Yeah.
And he didn't ship anything till like 6 months or 8
Yeah,
months.
it took him about 9 months.
My fear is that you're going to have that kind of explosion, and it's just going to take a long time to recover and get back to the norm. And by that time, people might be like, oh, this shit doesn't work.
I disagree with you.
Okay.
Because this is why this is a 2-tier project.
Yeah.
Because the main roster can be out there making money.
Right.
And then this one, the full roster.
That could be in development for God knows how
that
long.
needs a little bit more attention.
Yeah.
So if I have to hire 3 employees and not be profitable for the first 6 months or for the first year, that's going to happen.
Or you could do something like, we're accepting only 100 applicants or 50 applicants for our first 6 months.
Thank you.
Right.
That's a great idea.
You need to hire me.
I asked you if you wanted to come. You said no.
I said no. You also, another thing that I just thought about, like if a DJ, like for myself, if I get a gig from you and like I have
Jamie already want to sign up.
No. Like this is just like I was thinking about Call of Duty.
Hey, can I get a application?
Yeah. I was thinking about like Call of Duty, right? When you like pass certain levels, you get a ranking, right?
Yes.
So if I do about 17 gigs for you, it would have a different ranking. I'm
Oh
assuming-
shit, like stars.
So the ranking system,
like eBay, like
like Uber.
it's an interesting concept.
Shit, that's
but
fucked up though.
there's a little bit.
Imagine.
No. It just
never,
make-
like imagine you're like three.
I'm about to say
3 and a half.
2 stars, 2.5.
You're not getting ranked for your service. You're getting ranked like how many notches you have in your belt, how many like gigs you have done for this company.
You know, it'd be crazy if the venue like was able to rate you.
Seniority and stuff.
So here's the deal.
man.
That's probably going to be internal proprietary info.
Yo.
Because I wouldn't specifically because I wouldn't want. Let's say for example, this is not going to happen. Let's say you decide to sign up to the full roster, right?
Right.
And then there's DJs that are smaller DJs in smaller towns that play a lot of venues, but they play $200 to $300 gigs, $500 gigs, which is top of their market. But then somebody with a really big name like Crooked signs up to the full roster, they would be above you. And that doesn't make sense monetarily for a business.
Right.
Because you're a more sellable product in a lot of instances for a higher rate.
But your ranking.
So the ranking would be lower for you because you've done 0 gigs. So that would be proprietary and internal. So we know where to put guys.
Be like, yo, give it to the seniority give it to Neva. He's done 25.
This is a verified DJ that has 18 gigs under his belt. This is me selling, right?
Yeah.
He's got 18 gigs under his belt. He plays here every Friday. This is why you need to have him at your venue.
Yeah, you see?
I feel like
He's getting his whole process from
Well,
there.
I think also as things develop, I feel like AI would help you a lot.
For sure.
Yeah,
And, or push us out of business.
No, but what you're doing, I feel like AI could probably help if you program the right shit.
AI could probably help with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I was going to ask you, what made you narrow down those 6 guys in those 6 markets?
So they, number one, were friends of mine.
You're like Nick Fury choosing out the Avengers and
That's
shit.
exactly what it's like. But number one, they're friends of mine. Number two, they're solid in their marketplaces. Number three, there's no pressure on me to get them extra gigs because they're locked up right now. And when I'm building and rolling out, I didn't want that extra pressure to be like, all right, I have to get you gigs. I have to get you money. I didn't want to take somebody that needed assistance. And what I explained to them when I pitched to them was this: when you're in your market by yourself, you're a single hunter going out to hunt. If we're 5 hunters in all of our markets, we can all, if I kill something, we can bring it to the table and we can all eat. So if there's a club opening in Providence and DJ RM is going because he's already tapped in for Saturday bookings, guess who the first people in line to get those bookings are? The agency. If there's something in Miami and I have a corporate client that wants to have 6 DJs on a roster, guess who the 6 DJs are? The agency, right? So we all bring food to the table so we can all eat. Yeah. That's the idea behind basically everything. It's to add, not to subtract.
Now you're looking for DJs in specific cities, like Booza's here, you're in Florida, or you're in Miami. Are you constantly looking for an LA one, San Francisco, Seattle, so on and so forth?
Eventually, this is one of the things that worried you, was a lot of work, a lot of hours, right? I didn't want to oversaturate and pick too many people at first, which is not to say that we won't expand in the future, even though I think the sweet spot for an agency.
Who's negotiating their deals? You are?
So we all talk and we figure out what the best course of action is.
Oh, so there isn't a one-point person?
No.
Not right now.
That's odd, no?
It is and it isn't, because we are all individually hunters. So part of the idea came because I got a cold DM, which sometimes you get leads, right? They're like, hey, you want to come work for this?
Yeah.
I got a DM in January to play a spot, and they said, hey, could you want to come DJ for us? And I said, yeah, that's kind of what I do. I'm in, right? So then this was when I was off. I was on no management, no label, and I brokered the deal, set it up, but it was for August, and this was in January. And I'm like, damn, that's a pretty long window. I said, do you have anything sooner? I'd like to book some more dates. And they said, yeah, we have this date available in May. I was booked that weekend. So I hit up Booza and I go, hey man, do you want this gig? This is the deal I brokered. This is what I did. This is what I got. Like, if you want, I'll have the person hit you up. And they said, yeah, I'm in. So I tell the booker, I go, hey, would you like this DJ? He's ready to go. I sent over the profile and they said, wow, that's a great fit for us. They just did this. I just connected. Booza's a boss. He got the deal done on his own. So I can send these guys something and they can handle it. And that's part of the reason why I picked these guys.
So for now, everyone is kind of their own agent. Is what you're saying. Everyone is like self-proficient.
For now.
Right. So,
but eventually there's going to be that legacy management style.
You're going to need someone to, be a point person or the kind of the face of behind the scenes of what you guys are doing.
I mean, do we? The face behind the scenes?
Yeah, because I think at some point there's going to be instances or situations where you're going to need someone who's like kind of stepping in the middle, brokering, and either calming the situation down, or you get what I'm saying.
No,
right?
I understand.
Yeah.
You know, as an artist, you never want to be the asshole. You need that.
Exactly. You need someone who can be the asshole. That's what I'm saying. Right. Yeah.
But sometimes you might ask for travel on a $4,000 paycheck and they just stop talking to you. So it's a difficult balance, right? I think I can navigate it for now, but I think eventually I will have to train somebody to do it. The idea is to build something that's bigger than just me. It's bigger than just these guys. It's a big thing. One of the things I thought about when designing the website was every DJ on the planet has a laptop, whether or not they work on it. Because even if you work off of USB drives, you need a laptop to put the music onto the USB drives, right? Mm-hmm. So why not make a website that's laptop friendly for DJs? Even though it will be mobile compatible, like everyone's focused on mobile apps and mobile this, but everyone that's a DJ has a laptop. Make a website that's compatible for us to work on. On a Monday, maybe you check the gig board and you see what's available in your area. Maybe you post something because you have something. Maybe you figure, I need a calendar because it's May 25th. I need something for June 1st. Maybe we send an email blast 7 days before the beginning of the month to all of our members and say, guys, now's the time to get your calendars in. Send it to the designers so they can get your stuff ready for you. That kind of thing is very valuable to DJs that are in the marketplace.
Right.
Because then they post a calendar and some DJs won't. And who gets more attention?
And then so there is going to be like a membership fee though. Right.
I haven't ironed out all the details, but there likely has to be something there to be able to make all the infrastructure.
Or compensate all the services you guys are providing as well.
Yeah.
It's a lot of moving pieces.
I love it though. Don't you? Yeah. If it works, which I believe it will.
I want to see what you come up with.
Okay.
Yeah. Operationally, I feel like it's a lot. It's doable. It's definitely doable.
It's not far-fetched, for sure.
One of the things that I have to do, that I've learned over the past few years, that I have to remind myself, is that I can't do everything.
This for sure.
And I don't know if you have to do that too with yourself, but I feel like sometimes you and I are similar in some ways,
because that when you do it, it's going to be done right.
It's going to be done right.
That's right.
And then as you start running businesses and you hire people, you realize, if it's done 80%, that's actually really good of what I want.
Sure.
So I've had to lower my expectations and standards when I'm hiring people, and it all comes with like letting go.
Here's an argument for you.
Yeah.
If you're happy with that 80%, right?
I think you have to be.
Okay, but hold on. What if you added more money? What if you paid the person more? You think you'd find 90 or 95?
So what I've learned, from experience, is when I overcompensate, the work quality goes down. Actually.
Interesting.
Because there's a cockiness and comfortability that goes into play.
So there's a sweet spot.
There's a sweet spot of earning enough and like wanting to do more, and it's really more about purpose, giving your employees purpose, and I think freedom is the most important. So like when I think about businesses or starting a business or opening starting a company or anything, I don't want it to be based on employees. I want it to be based on independent contractors who can dictate their hours but get the work done. I don't care if you're in fucking Miami or whatever. If you can get the work done remotely, and if there's good communication, I'm cool with that. You dictate your hours and the work gets done. I think that's the future of employee-employer relationship, because nobody wants anyone to tell them and force them to do hours 9 to 5 at a certain hour and come in. People want to work at night. People want to do shit during the day. People want to get errands done during the day and then maybe work like extra hours on a Sunday or a Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think freedom is important now for employees and all of this stuff. But I mean, I don't know if we went off topic. But
No, I think it's actually great. It's very beneficial starting this, because the most important thing that you mentioned was purpose.
Yeah.
Right. So if you can't find someone with purpose, and find an independent contractor.
Yeah.
You know, somebody that will do what you need to do with hours, right? And that's something that the important thing about this agency is the knowledge base and the connections, right? If we need to check on people or send out emails, a lot of that can be automated, and some of that could even potentially be outsourced to contractors. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, have you done your checklist? What spot are you on? Oh, I haven't finished this. I haven't finished that. Cool, no problem. I'll mark it down and I'll hit you up in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? So this is keeping people on task, and it's giving people a pathway to better their careers, better their brand.
Interesting. Well, as this develops, I want to learn. I want to hear more about it.
I will send you a job application.
Because I love.
Just send you a job application. No, please do.
I love talking about business and like starting businesses. Yeah. And I'm very good at, forecasting
troubles,
the problems, and the potential successes of it.
Nice.
And I'm usually, I don't know, Jamie, I'm pretty on point.
Oh yeah, you're pretty. Yeah,
I talk to him a lot about shit, and then all of a sudden, like 6 months later,
he'll be like,
I'll see something, I'll be like, that's not sustainable. It's not going to work.
I remember when
6 to 8 months
when
later,
we started working, like, you won't get this till this time of your life or this, and I'm like, damn, he's pretty on fucking point.
Well, if you think of that, just text me so I can, prevent it from happening.
No, I got to start charging you now. Like, you got way too much.
I gave you the Call of Duty ranking shit.
I gave you way. Basically, this was like a consulting session.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Listen, most of it was already in place.
And this is just something.
I'm taking all the credit when this shit comes out. I'll be like,
that was all me.
He got all that shit from our podcast.
I'll have a pop-up that says "Powered by the R.O.A.D podcast."
Yeah. No, it's exciting.
I was going to ask you. I mean, this goes back to Crooked not announcing, but being worried about this a few years ago. Would you eventually make things available like healthcare and all that stuff for DJs and shit?
That's a really hard thing to do.
It's so hard.
Or like
it's
a 401k
really So I think a better thing to do, because that's so hard, it's such a mountain to climb as a business, is to give the knowledge and like to give it the accessible knowledge. Maybe this is a free page on the website instead of keeping it paywalled. Mm-hmm. Potentially just being like, look, guys, this is kind of important. Healthcare, 401k. What is a Roth IRA? What is a Roth 401k? What is I think it's a 529 college plan for your kid. What's a HYSA health? Is that high yield savings account? What is the health account? The thing that you can put money into for your health care. Mm-hmm. What are all those things? Because we get none of that. Mm-hmm. Not just in school, but also as independent contractors. Like, no one cares. It's like, pay your taxes. Uncle Sam wants his cut, and after that, you're on your own. Mm-hmm. And that's all we get. So yeah, all these things are important knowledge bases to have as independent contractors. And if it betters the community and betters the colleagues that we have around us, I'm all for it.
Yeah, because like coming up in the game, like I was luckily, I'm spoiled with support and I'm spoiled with knowledge around me, but not everybody has that. Like I remember when I had to do my first invoice, I texted Kirk, I'm like, how the fuck do I do this? He's like, go here, do this, do that, and then write this. And that's with everything. With a lot of things, I don't think there's enough guidance for the up and comers. Like, yeah, you can give them a gig and all you want, but I think the information, this is the do's, this is the don'ts, watch out for this. I think that's far more important than just giving somebody a gig. I think there's many more, there's more to be held with the knowledge of putting somebody on game opposed to just giving somebody a gig.
I could take that audio and sell the entire agency with just that, because I agree with you.
Just charge this motherfucker.
More reasons why we deserve a cut from this podcast. No, you know
Let's
what?
Get a free membership going.
Jamie, what you're talking about is community.
Yeah.
In the end of it all, it's community.
Yeah, and that's I think that's, and one thing, the way I can explain his agency, the things that he's working on, is by the community for the community kind of thing, because it is. Konflikt is, you can hit him up at any fucking point, and if you need something, he'll definitely guide you to the right place. Same thing with Crooked and Neva, but it's definitely.
Neva's like, don't call me.
Don't text me.
Unless you really need something. Nah, I'm joking.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's not, we spoken about, Crooked's brought this up many times in private and in on air, I think, is where's the new generation at to take over, stuff like that. We're not seeing it, and I think it's just lack.
I think we're seeing it.
Yeah, but it's not in the way you guys came in the mid 2000s and kind of took over shit.
I mean, no, look, I don't think I've ever said that we don't see the next generation of DJs.
No, the ones that are gonna take over. I mean, we've spoken about it.
I can't agree with you on that.
You're talking about like bottle service nightclubs.
Just the new generation, the new up and comers.
The next wave. Buddy.
How many of my age group can you name?
Listen, there is a lot of DJs in this next generation who are superstar DJs, where they're like superstars. They've got followers. They're killing it. They're setting up their own parties. For example, I'm in agreement with you, but I'm also saying
I'm not saying that there's none.
No.
Why haven't they?
No. I would. So what you're talking about specifically is something different, but I'll go into that. But let me touch on this. There are DJs out there like Habibeats.
Like Nobel Slaps.
Habibeats is like a new generation DJ because he came up through TikTok, which is unheard of. And now
the first of his kind of.
And he started his own party, which is doing immensely well. And that to me is like a new generation because it's a completely different approach than what any of us.
Well, he had a background also because his uncle was a club owner.
Right.
But again, that's what I'm saying. Like there's a knowledge part. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's a knowledge part. There's the OG cosign.
Coming up on TikTok,
especially during the pandemic,
is unheard of. Like
it's first of its kind, but he had the game. He had the knowledge. I'm not saying
what I've said is there is no next gen of DJs that want to work and know how to read a room like a bottle service club DJ or a big room DJ.
That's exactly.
No, there's no new generation that's like, I want to know how to keep people here and keep the tables here.
Keep people dancing. Spending money on
There's
bottles.
A bunch of new generation people that are like, hey, I want to come up and I want to fucking kill it.
I want to rock the party.
But I want to play what I want to play, and I want to play for the crowd that I want to play for. Whereas we came up and we're like, we just wanted, we were just happy with any work, so we had to learn to read every fucking room. Do you agree with this or you don't agree with this?
Here's what I see. 1 hour masterclass by DJ Crooked provided video on my favorite DJ agents. we just give knowledge, right?
No, I mean,
I agree with you. There's a lack of people that can do the job, which is why you see the same names all the time.
Konflikt. You and I should not be working or as busy as we are.
Listen, every day that I've woken up in my life since I started this career, I'm like, this might be the last week. Because I'm waiting for that person to tap me on the shoulder and be like, hey, my man, I got it.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened.
But that's what I'm saying is that I talked to Neva about this. We shouldn't be still DJing now.
But if you go based upon history, we had already taken out the prior guard once we got to this age group. Like the prior guard, when they got to our age, we were already like, all right, guys, move.
No. See, I don't think we took them over.
Okay.
I think they bowed out. I think there was
I think you guys took over. I'm gonna be honest. I think you guys came in.
I think
blazing guns. I think took over the fucking
I think
castle.
the DJs before us bowed out a little bit.
I think so, and I agree with Crooked on this one.
No. Wait. Let me hear me out. I'm just saying. I think
the ones I know.
Yeah.
Like
but you're talking about DJs in the '80s, never.
No.
I'm talking about.
You're not talking DJs in the '90s or in the 2000s.
No, I'm talking about '90s and 2000s.
Yeah. During the 2000s, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. During the 2000s, after 9/11, right? A lot of the DJs who were killing it in the 90s felt like they were getting older and they did not like the direction of bottle service clubs. So they were saying, we don't want to play this shit and we don't want to work for these motherfuckers and we don't want to cater to this crowd. So they were saying, we want to try some other shit. We want to do some other shit. Not only that, but there was also this tendency of like, yo, it's kind of silly to be in your mid 30s to late 30s DJing.
Yeah.
Like there was this kind of, you right? Am I right? They were just like, yo, we got to move on to some other shit.
But like you said, they was just tired of the new music that was coming out. They felt like they didn't relate to the music. So they was like, you know what? I can't play this shit no more. I like playing what I want to play.
Yes. Our generation, you, me, and Konflikt, and a bunch of others around our age group.
I'm a little bit younger than you guys, but go ahead.
Well, like our era, right? Our era of DJing. We're the most adaptable group of DJs.
Yeah.
Out of all DJs, even the new motherfuckers coming up, we're more adaptable. And for some reason, there's a chip in us that we want to be like people pleasers for some reason. And it's maybe because some of the OGs didn't really accept us.
Good point.
I'm not wrong, right?
So you had to take over.
I think you guys are both right. We're just
Yeah.
we're disagreeing on percentages. You say most.
Yeah.
He says most. We took over. I think that there's probably some truth to both, but I don't think everyone bowed out. I don't think everyone bowed out.
I know what you're saying.
The marketplace will push you out if you stop looking the part, which you mentioned. That it used to do more so than it does now, but it
Right.
probably still does. The marketplace would push people out if they didn't do the job properly. The marketplace pushes you out if you fall into the pits of DJing, which we all know very closely because we've seen it happen too.
Yeah.
Whether it be alcohol, women, or extra stuff you're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So the market will push you out, but also there is a voluntary tap out where it's like, hey man, I'm 40, I don't want to do this anymore, or I'm 50, I don't want to do this anymore, or whatever the case, or I have a family, or I don't want to get on a plane, or I don't feel like playing this pop record that really sucks and I have to play it. So there's voluntary dropouts, but there's also market pushouts. I think both are true. It's how much is more? That's the question.
I think we're a rare breed. Like our era of DJs, we're the only DJs that touched both. And there's something to say about the adaptability of it all. That
Both vinyl and digital.
we had to adapt, and we liked the validation of like holding these rooms down more so than any other validation. I think there's something about that we're always about the room.
What if it's that the EDM thing that happened where a lot of the newer generations, all they saw was big festivals, big guys hidden playing, and everybody goes crazy. So they're chasing the same drug, but just a different variant.
Yeah,
right?
because I chase what I came up watching you guys be doing.
Right.
That's what I chase. And maybe that's why I'm telling you, there's a very few, like the Exiles, Nova Slaps, the Habibi to the World, and myself. But I don't think there's anything in the way you guys came and took over. You guys came by the hundreds. We're coming by the tenths. So there's not a lot of DJs. There's not enough for the new generation to take over the older generation.
Well, the thing is, when I talk to new DJs and I ask them who are their idols or who do they want to be, some of them are like, I want to be Rihanna. I want to be big. It's these like grandiose these public figures and celebrities. They want to be that. We just wanted to make a living doing what we loved.
Yes.
That was like impossible to believe. When we were coming up, we're like, wait, if I could just pay my rent.
Doing math. I did
DJ,
math.
yeah. If I could just pay my rent doing DJing, oh man, it would be so amazing.
In my van, buy some gear.
And so we had such low expectations, and motherfuckers were able to buy houses and property and thrive and
build business
and look and have multiple decades of a career that we never fathomed. But we did it
unheard of at the time.
And that's why, and our idols are these DJs that were before us that were amazing DJs, and it was never based on followers. It was never based on fame or money. It was literally based on skill and their impact on the culture.
So we have a lot of lost humans that think they want to be DJs, but they just want to be famous.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you know what it is that I would say probably towards the mid 2010s, 2015, DJs were introverts. Now DJs are extroverts.
Yeah,
they have to be because that's the perception, right?
Well, now,
they make a championship belt and talk to
right. But I'm saying, a majority of all DJs are introverts.
I agree.
We're nerds.
Before 2010, they're all fucking introverts, bro. That's why we gather together so well. Do you know what I'm saying? But towards 2015, there's this different generation of DJs that love singing the songs and dancing and being performative, going to the crowd. They love the attention.
Because that's what they saw modeled.
Exactly.
Yeah. What we saw modeled was guys sweating on vinyl, making it work.
Yep.
Working for real.
In dark rooms in the corner.
Yeah. And then I don't know about you guys, but I used to play the back room, and I was like, damn, I'm making $500 in this back room. If I work the main room, it's got to be at least double. That's $1,000, right? And so I'm doing math in my head. I'm like, all right, if I finish this bachelor's, I'm 20, right? If I finish this bachelor's degree, I'm gonna make $50K a year, $1,000 every weekend times 52. That's $52,000. I just got to get to that main room.
Right.
Fuck this thing.
That's what I thought when I was working at the fucking police station. I was like, dude, 55, that's what people start. I'm like, if you can make this, I'm flipping shoes. I make more money doing that. So yeah, exactly that same thinking. But back to your point, Cricket. Also, I always do this argument with you. I feel the DJ that we are doing now, the DJ you guys grew up doing, is still fairly new. It's still in the 40s.
What are you talking about? The
Like,
DJ you're doing?
The DJing we do now, the open format, the DJing, the party rocking, that's only about 40 years old. So there's no real
Open format DJing?
Yeah. 40 to 50 times.
Open format DJ?
Yeah.
I feel like open format DJing started in like the early 2000s.
I would say
No.
no.
The 90s.
I would say 80. I'm going whenever hip hop started. That's the beginning.
School me,
I
please.
feel because hip hop.
Our resident
Well,
historian.
you know, here's the thing. Like open format DJing, it's like it's playing more than one genre of music, right?
Fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's always been happening.
If you want to go back, Africa Bambaataa, when he started DJing, the downtown scene, him, Africa Islam, they used to play a little bit of punk rock, reggae, R&B, disco. They mixed it up, so that was like an early part of open format DJ.
And that would be what year?
But that would be like in the
Late
80s.
80s? Late
No,
80s?
early 80s.
I'm giving you.
Okay.
I'm going. The birth of hip hop being the beginning.
So
of
maybe
this.
I'm talking about it crossing over to mainstream.
You're talking about the explosion.
But the thing is that the problem with open format, it's a term that I don't know who created. I would love to know where the fuck that came from.
Yeah.
Like, where was the board meeting
Yeah,
where someone
that's
said
just out of nowhere.
That's like,
There was a
when
good
did
board meeting.
that started in like I don't know when it started.
Mid-2000s?
Like 2000s.
I want to say 08, 07.
Did it?
Yeah.
Like the mid 2000s.
Look at open format in the mid 2000s was mashup.
Yeah,
They just
right.
wanted
that was
a
the beginning.
mashup DJ.
Yes, another form.
No. Open format started when hip hop started coming in the early 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
Like when EDM took over to like 2012 and 13.
I feel like I heard the term a little earlier.
I heard it way earlier. You know when I heard
Maybe.
it? I heard it around Banana Split era, which is 05 or 06 to like 08.
I don't know, but I started hearing
Around the
it-
Blog House era.
I started hearing it when all of these nightclubs in Vegas were EDM clubs, and they were like, "Holy shit! Wait, people like the tables are asking for hip hop." So then there was this resurgence of hip hop, like Fetty Wap was killing it, like all the West Coast mustard shit was killing it. There was all this like shit coming back, and then it was like, oh shit, and then EDM started like kind of going down a little bit. They're like, oh, we need to bring back hip hop, but we can't say hip hop is in the room. So we have to call it open format.
Interesting.
And that's when I just started hearing that term more open. Like, yeah, we need you for open format. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And they're like, that's hip hop.
Yeah.
But back to what you're saying is that hip hop is actually, to me, the birth of open format.
That's what I
because
see it.
in general, the style of DJing open format is hip hop.
Yeah.
Because it's all about breakbeats.
Yeah. The break dancers, you play like funk music.
And
like
it doesn't
up-tempo.
matter
Yeah.
where you got your breakbeat from.
Fair.
It could have been from Spanish music. It could have been from, disco or whatever.
Reggae from the islands.
Yeah, funk or anything.
Yeah.
And we're putting it all together, and that's really hip hop.
The beginning of hip hop, yeah.
Yeah,
So I made a mistake.
Yeah.
then.
No, it's cool.
Open
So we go
format.
back to Kool Herc, because
Yeah.
that's what he was doing
Exactly.
when hip hop first started. He was playing a bunch of, because there was no hip hop records. They would, like Quicker said, they would take like
disco, Yeah.
R&B, whatever music that was available at the time.
Open format.
So that was the beginning.
But it's
format.
kind of like everyone started hopping on mashup.
It was the thing when because the
But it was
Ableton
also
and Pro
like
Tools
it was also kind of like white friendly.
It was digestible.
Because it was like, oh, this isn't just hip hop, which is like black and Latino.
Fair.
This is mashup because we're bringing rock and roll.
It's like
into
that at the time. DJ started playing AC/DC, Back in Black.
So there was this emergence of like booking DJs who did mashup because like, oh, there's all these like new DJs that can mix it up for a white crowd, and it won't be like a predominantly black crowd if we put hip hop on the flyer. But they needed a new term in the 2010s, and they couldn't say mashup, right? So they were saying open format.
Well, they did just say mashup for a while. I feel
They said it through, but
Yeah.
once EDM took over, you said mashup. Like
That was dumb.
like the most.
Yeah,
and there
mashup
was a point where if you were on MySpace and you're like, I'm a mashup DJ, you were gonna get booked somehow because that was like your website back in the day for
Sure.
DJs.
MySpace for sure.
Yeah, MySpace was
Top
like
8.
mashup DJs. It's like, oh, let's hire him because I remember we would be in these meetings in Vegas and they'd be like, yeah, we stumbled onto this mashup DJ. And we're like, nah, he stole these mashups from this person and that person. They're just posting that shit up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say open format to me was the resurgence of hip hop in the 2010s. And they needed a new word besides hip hop.
Yeah.
And back to my point, I feel like this DJing that we do now is still a 40 to 50-year-old person, so we don't know how.
No, but it's hip hop. That's the whole thing.
It's hip hop, but
you could call it whatever you want.
End of the day, it's hip hop.
But the same thing. You could talk about the older rappers like Jay-Z. He needed to take a step back and he became the president or whatever. But for a minute there, we didn't know who was gonna be the next hot rapper, who was gonna take over. 2007 to like 2010 to the Mustard era, we didn't know who the fuck was gonna take over. Like you can't
on a DJ level.
No, I'm just saying it's just like the hip hop.
He's creating an example.
Oh. Yeah, so just like hip hop, you're expecting to be being somebody taking over your position, but it's still
it's still up in the air.
Yeah, you're still trying to figure what the fuck is going on.
The wave, look, I think cycles happen all the time where the old guard gets taken out and the new ones come in, but there's the wave is taking really long to come in.
Yeah, because there's nobody that. There's no reference page. There's no. This is how you're supposed to do this, because everything has changed.
I used to think that was a bad thing, but now I'm starting to think it's a really good thing, because the more our job becomes hard to do because no one can do it, the better our pay is going to be.
I mean, dude, look at Funkmaster Flex. He's still the king of New York right now. He's still holding it down. I heard he's
even bigger now.
Exactly, yeah. He's still holding it down.
In the clubs, I heard he, like after the pandemic, he blew the fuck up where all the clubs want to book him now.
Not only that, did you guys see how he rocks that stage at Summer Jam?
Yeah.
It's fucking like no other.
Yeah.
And like, again, who's going to take over a Funkmaster Flex? Who's going to take over a Konflikt? Who's going to take over a Crooked and a Never and Five and et cetera, et cetera? There's nobody can be able to do that fucking job.
In the end, we're all replaceable. Do you know what I'm saying?
I agree with you, but
we're very replaceable.
Of course, if you die, you're gonna be replaced, whatever. But I don't think somebody can come in like the movie Juice and battle you and take over.
No,
spot.
it's not about taking over. It's the fact that
or fizzling out or whatever.
It's the fact that it's not about taking over. I think I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
but it's actually a little bit different. I think the style of our DJing has continued to have value over the past years. And it's surprising that, like at where we are in our stages in our career, that it's still valued and it's still important. And it seems like we would like, oh, this is dated, but it's not. It's still like, whatever we learned in our era of DJing, I don't know if it's the resourcefulness or all of us not really blowing up to the extent of like, other DJs like Funk Flex or whatever, where we were kind of like working DJs.
Yeah.
And we kind of like, we stayed working DJs. And there was no like real like pinnacle, I don't know. Like
I think it's because we saw the ups and downs more than the new generation. You talked about them wanting to be like Rihanna and famous.
Right.
We saw the guys, again, sweating on top of vinyl, carrying their crates, working, potentially negotiating, like, yo, I'm going to go play your club. Like, this guy doesn't want to have me there. Like, we got the ins and outs of the business. We understood that it was hard work all the time with a little payoff for an hour or two. Whereas what they see today is just big crowds, big stadium, big money, big this, big that. And they don't see the work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And then they're lost. They're like, wait, but why don't I have a festival? I already put out 2 songs.
Yeah.
It's like, because the path is way longer than what you showed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That was way more articulate than I could have said it.
That was a good topic.
We're hitting 2 hours. I didn't think we'd do 2 hours with you.
I think we could.
We need to have more podcasts with you. It's really easy. It's really easy.
You know what? Sometimes when I'm going to be on the West Coast, I think, man, should I hit them up? But then I think, no, maybe they don't want to talk to me.
Yeah, you should.
I have like self-doubt about it.
No,
you should.
You're dope as fuck, bro.
Yeah, because it was really easy. Konflikt, it's a pleasure always having you here.
Thank you guys for having me.
And then please, if you're in town.
I might come back in December.
Yeah, hit me up.
That's too far.
We'll love to have you.
Come back in 3 months from now.
When you're in town again, just hit me up.
Okay, we'll
do it again.
And we'll go to the shooting range.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that as a vlog.
Maybe
we'll do it as a family.
Maybe I trust the experience with you.
Okay,
Konflikt. Thank you for coming through. What is the name of your agency again?
So
how can we get information?
myfavoritedj.agency is the website.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the launch date is up in the air.
That's right.
You're going to let us know.
There should be something up right now.
Okay.
Whether it's the full site or something to sign up.
All right, cool.
Yeah. And then my podcast is My Favorite DJ, the podcast, and that's on Spotify, Apple, and everywhere you listen to podcasts.
And if there's any DJs that are actually looking maybe to help you with this shit, they should reach out.
I have no problem. I would love to. Yeah. I've spoken to, when I launched this thing, designers hit me up and people that said, I have back-end experience working with rosters and I've managed DJs and I've managed venues. People have constantly hit me up about potentially adding to this, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this. Community.
Right. I love it.
Dope.
Conflikt, thanks for coming through.
Thank you.
A pleasure, man. Much love to you and your family.
Thank you.
All right. Hopefully I'll see you very soon. All right,
all
brother? DJ Konflikt.
The world champion.
If you want to watch more episodes from R.O.A.D Podcast, click either links on the left or the right. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page and get updated on new uploads throughout the week. Peace.